All right, guys, so just for documentation purposes, we have roughly 6,000 miles on the car, so 5871, but we're just going to call that 6,000 because it's a nice round number. So 6,000 miles in about a year, so I have a lot of experience with the car. Let's talk about all of it. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for pressing play. Today is the day. I have a 1-year review and a 6,000 mile review of my 2023 C8 Corvette Z06. I want to go through the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Let's do it. All right, guys, so if you are familiar with my channel, you're probably pretty aware by now, I really like the C8 Corvette Z06. I'm really a fan of it. I've really been enjoying my time with it. And I wanted to bring you guys a review that was totally unbiased and something that would actually help you if you were to go buy a new C8 Corvette Z06 today. And that is not going to be necessarily me sitting here telling you nothing but niceties. I don't want to make it sound like this thing's perfect, because even though I really do like this car, I possibly even love it, it is not perfect. It has its drawbacks or its cons, and we're going to go over all of them today. So let's start with the good, because there's enough bad and ugly on the internet. Let's start with the good stuff. So right off the bat, you guys are going to notice this car is absolutely beautiful. It has an absolutely striking appearance. It looks very exotic. It stands up to some of the most exotic cars out there, like your Ferraris, your Lamborghinis, all of that stuff. Now, I have a story really quickly. While I was down at the Pittsburgh International Auto Show, I had this car sitting there at the booth for blackout tinting, and I had a random person come up to me who didn't even know that this was my car and tell me that this car looked more like a Ferrari than the Ferrari we had sitting at our booth. And I thought that that was hilarious, because we had a 488 sitting at our booth, and this guy said specifically, this looks more like a Ferrari than that Ferrari. And that kind of stuck with me, because afterwards I realized he's right. This thing has such an exotic appearance, and some of the Ferraris out there don't even look as exotic as this thing. So very, very, very exotic appearance, and of course the exotic performance and the exotic sound to back it up. Take a listen to this. So as you heard there for yourself, there's no denying this thing sounds like a Ferrari. It looks like a Ferrari. It handles and drives very similar to some of the higher end Lamborghinis and Ferraris out there for a fraction of the price. The cars are not super easy to get, and if you can get them, they're not guaranteed to be at MSRP. And the MSRP on these cars is still pretty high. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to pay a good bit of money for this car. I paid around $153, I believe it was, and then after taxes was right over $160 for a Corvette. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. This thing has been worth every single penny. Now, coming from a guy who also owns a C7 Corvette ZR1, that means a lot, because the ZR1 is the pinnacle of the C7 generation. And I'll be honest with you, the two cars, I can't tell you which one I like better, because they're both so good in different ways. So that should tell you kind of all you need to know as far as that's concerned. The C8 Corvette Z06 fixed a bunch of problems that I had with the C8 Stingray, starting with the wheels. The stock wheels on this car were really, really nice looking, and they were also sized appropriately, if you ask me. The car is a little bit longer than a C7 Corvette, and because of that, the bigger wheels kind of offset that look. So with the C8 Corvette Z06, we finally got 20s in the front and 21s in the rear, whereas the Stingray kept it with 19s in the front and 20s in the rear, and the wheels just never looked appropriate for the larger size of the car. With the C8 Z06, the stock wheels were also a much nicer design. So you had the option between forged aluminum wheels and of course the carbon fiber wheels for the 2023 model year. I had the forged aluminum wheels, and even though I really like the design of them, the new wheels you see here are from Forged Light. They actually look better, fit better, and actually knock 16 pounds off of the stock wheels. So all good things there. If you guys are interested in the mods of this car, we're going to talk about those at the end of this video. I will timestamp it right here for you. So if you want to just look at the mods and that's it, you can click that and go straight to the mod section. We're going to do all that at the end. I want to get through the actual review before we do that. For those of you wondering, this is a 2023 C8 Corvette Z06 non-Z07 package. I added the Z07 package stuff you're seeing here. It does have the carbon ceramic rotors. It has the front end lift. It is a 3LZ black with red stitching interior, red seat belts on the interior. It had the gloss black forged aluminum wheels before I changed them out. It has the stealth interior package as well as the level 2 carbon fiber interior package. It also has the engine appearance package, which of course puts lights over the engine bay for you to see all the prettiness at night. I also got the edge red painted intake on the car. Other than that, there weren't a lot of options left to check. I wanted to just kind of go over what this car actually is, what you're seeing here, because obviously it is a black exterior with the torch red or bright red painted calipers and the carbon ceramic rotors, just so you guys know exactly what it is we're reviewing. Now, moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit about the reliability of the car. So far I have 6,000 miles on it, so I haven't exactly been keeping it in the garage, but I haven't exactly been taking it cross-country trips either. I did drive it from Pennsylvania to Bowling Green, Kentucky for the Bash just recently, and after I bought it at Myrtle Beach, I drove it from there home to Pennsylvania. I've had no issues with check engine lights, no issues with weird shifting or anything like that. The car has been perfectly solid and a really, really good example of what this car can do. Now, with all of that said, some people have had some issues, but this is only my experience with the car, my review. I want to tell you guys what I have experienced with this, and I've had no problems whatsoever. I did do an oil change and a transmission filter change at 2,000 miles on the car, and I will be doing it again here shortly, and then again at 7,500 miles just to maintain a GM record. I would recommend you do the same, just because with oil and filters, you can never change them too often. Let's start up front with the carbon ceramic rotors. A lot of people have had questions about the carbon ceramic rotors and whether or not they're worth the upcharge over the iron brakes. The biggest reason I'm going to say yes is because of the fact that you get no brake dust. If you are trying to keep your wheels clean and trying to keep your car nice looking, carbon ceramic rotors are going to help you do that. The iron rotors dust a ridiculous amount. So if you wash your car, drive 2 feet down the road, hit the brakes a couple times, your wheels are probably dirty. The carbon ceramics stop that from happening. They also are slightly larger than the iron rotors, and they also, in my opinion, I've driven both cars, they also have a better bite initially. Apparently the actual stopping power with the iron rotors is about the same as the carbon ceramics as far as GM reports, but I noticed a better initial bite with the carbon ceramic rotors. So that combined with the fact that you don't get any dust, get the carbon ceramic rotors. My car that you see here behind me is totally expelled with paint protection film. It is ceramic coated. It is also window tinted with the latest ceramic kind of window tint from Expel to make sure that it is totally protected. So I can't really comment too much about how the paint's holding up because, of course, with PPF, it's gonna hold up pretty well. So ultimately, even though I do have a PPF, I haven't noticed any paint issues or paint flaking, chipping, peeling, anything like that. The paint seems like it's in pretty good condition, and it was from day one. Didn't really need much polishing or anything to bring it up to par. GM has their paint stuff down pretty good at this point. I think it's going on there in a nice fashion. Moving on to the interior, guys, we've already talked about the fact that this is a 3LZ interior, all Napa leather. I didn't mention that it is also competition seats, but I can see that now. I have had no issues with wear. You can see the competition seat bolster, you can see the center console lid, even over here on the door panel arm, you can actually see there is no excessive wear or anything to be spoken of in the 6,000 miles that I've been driving this car. Now, if you are putting an excessive amount of miles on the car, your mileage may vary, but I had about 20,000 miles on my C8 Stingray before I sold it, and it also had competition seats. I also noticed no specific ridiculous wear or anything on the interior. Everything was pretty solid. GM did a really good job with the interior on this car, outside of one thing which we'll discuss later under the ugly part of this review. The interior has held up really well. The carbon fiber is really good. It's not delaminating or peeling or anything. Everything in the interior is pretty much perfect. But while we're here, let's jump in the car and actually take it for a ride. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the driving aspects and how it feels to be on the interior of this car.
Let's do a cold start. Sitting on the sun, so it's kind of a warm start.
Like this. God dang! Oh, it sounds so good. Listen to this. Oh, what a fantastic car set up with the Soul Cats. Oh my goodness. Beautiful, beautiful. But then upshift the 4th or 5th, and it's very manageable. So again, guys, very impressed with the overall interior of the C8, the performance of the C8. With a couple mods, this thing quickly becomes something out of this freaking world, and I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. I mean, look at the quality of the carbon fiber, the stealth package on the door there, the aluminum usage, the leather usage, the stitching of the double stitching with the red. It's just, it all looks so high quality, so supercar. Not to mention the center console here, carbon fibered out. Just, it looks so good. Really impressed with the interior, guys. And of course, with a couple little mods with the Soul Performance Cats and the AWE exhaust, this thing sounds the part, it looks the part. The interior is just as good as the exterior, and it is really, really an awesome package. I am absolutely loving the C8 Z06. Even with the bad and the ugly stuff that we'll talk about in a little bit, it is still one of the best cars I have ever driven. Yes, one of the best. Now, because this car is not a Z07 package car, it actually came with the Michelin Sport 4S tires over the Sport Cup 2Rs that you would get with the Z07 package. I personally prefer the Sport 4S tires. I think they're one of the best all-around tire you can buy on the market. And because of that, this handles itself pretty well. The only time I would ever even remotely consider changing these tires out for the Sport Cup 2Rs would be if you're doing serious tracking. Because I've done some tracking with the Sport 4Ss, and honestly, they do very well. So unless you're pushing it to the absolute edge of its performance capability, you're not really going to notice the difference between these and the Sport Cup 2Rs, outside of the fact that the Cup 2Rs wear a lot worse and just pick up everything and sling it at the rear of the car. We talked a little bit about the carbon ceramic rotors in the front. I wanted to also mention that I've noticed no weird squealing or squeaking or any kind of problems at all from the carbon ceramic rotors. So if you do go this route, they are supposed to last the life of the car, again, assuming you don't do any crazy tracking all the time. Because a track day once here and there, just like I've been doing, the carbon ceramic rotors will hold up very well. Moving on to the back side of the car, everything here has been pretty good as well. No problems with the taillights, exhaust, nothing like that. Everything has been pretty good here. Obviously, I have added the Z07 wing, and even that's been absolutely fine. I'm just basically trying to cover all the bases here, guys. The car has been really good. I have not had any issues with it whatsoever. There are little things here and there that we're going to go over in the video, but I wanted to go through all of the good first before going into any of the bad or the ugly, because there are a couple things here and there. The car's not perfect, but it's been really good. It's been a solid car, and for $150,000 to $160,000, I know that's a lot of money to most people, but in the grand scheme of the expensive cars out there nowadays, $150 is really not that bad, and this car has been super solid for $150,000. The customizability of the C8 Z06, or the C8 in general, is just absolutely massive. There is so much aftermarket available for this car, it's incredible. And because of that, it really makes it a blast to own this thing, because there's just so much out there you can do to really make this car yours. So that's pretty much it, guys. For the good, the car has been awesome. I haven't had any problems whatsoever. Not really anything to speak of. I do want to talk about all of it though. So I am going to get into some of the bad here now. So if you guys are looking to buy one of these cars, you should know right off the bat, they're not super easy to get. So the bad part is going to be they're difficult to get. They're difficult to purchase. The dealerships often want over MSRP charges. So I paid $150 for this car. That was the MSRP. A lot of people are paying 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 over. Even still, there are some dealerships still charging that. And if that's the case, that's obviously not a great thing. So that's going to go into the bad category. You're experience with buying one of these is probably not going to be good. Another bad thing is going to be maintenance. Unfortunately, Chevy makes the car, but it doesn't seem like Chevy can really maintain the car. And that's really kind of odd to say. I know it's probably even odder to hear, but Chevy doesn't really know how to maintain these things. When you pull this car into a Chevy dealership, you're going to get looks like you just stepped onto a Martian planet. People are not going to have any idea what you are bringing to them. And if they do, if you're lucky enough to have a dealership where they have a Corvette tech on hand, they're still not as good as you would think. They have the name Corvette tech, and that typically means they know how to deal with these, but even they don't really know how to deal with these. So what I mean by that is the front and rear of the car has adjustable caster, which is part of an alignment routine, and almost every single dealership I've ever called has no idea that the rear end has an adjustable caster. They'll adjust the front caster, the front toe, the front camber, and then they'll adjust the rear camber and the rear toe, and they have no idea that the caster needs adjusted back here too. If you don't adjust the caster, it massively affects how this car performs on a track. So this is a big deal. GM has no idea. If you guys have ever found a GM tech that knows how to adjust the rear caster on this car, please leave a message into the comment section down below, because I'm traveling to your state to have them do my alignment. Again, on the topic of bad, we also have gas mileage. I know this is one of those things where most of you guys don't care. I don't personally care too much about the gas mileage either, because it's not horrendous, but it's definitely not great. You're not going to get any kind of Toyota Prius gas mileage out of this car, that's for sure. Especially once you get an exhaust and stuff like I have on this car, you're going to want to be driving this car in manual shift mode 90% of the time. And when you do, you're going to be burning through a lot of gas, like a lot of gas. So as much as I don't want to list that as a bad, it is something to keep in mind if you are looking to buy one of these and potentially daily driving it. Another potential bad for the car is the front end being as open as it is. If you don't get radiator grille guards, it is going to absolutely just get beat up in there. So if you do get one of these cars, do yourself a favor, get the radiator grille guards almost immediately, because otherwise they will get beat up. Your radiators will look like absolute garbage, and it could potentially affect how it cools. So the fact that the car does not come stock with the radiator grille guards is kind of a bad thing if you ask me. Now, lastly, we want to talk about some ugly of the car. So we did the good, we did the bad. Now we're going to talk about the ugly. And the ugly things that really stand out to me are as follows. There is a rattle in this door panel that drives me absolutely insane. I've been to the dealership. I have personally had the door panel off to try to find it. And the thing that really blows my mind is that when you take this door panel off, it is very evident that GM went to the ends of the world to make sure that these things do not make any kind of noise. There is noise prevention everywhere in that door panel, and yet somehow I am getting a noise somewhere right up in here, just a rattle sound, and I can't get rid of it. It's driving me insane. So one of these days, I'm gonna probably end up having GM replace the entire panel, because it is getting to the point now where I can't stand it any longer, and I can't find the problem. Like I said, I've had this door panel off, I think 3 times now, cannot find the issue. So definitely an ugly thing to be aware of. So another ugly aspect of this car is buying it and not getting the rock guards right away, because if you don't, this car in the front kicks up a lot of debris at the rear, to the point where back here, especially this boomerang area right here, will be just absolutely destroyed with rock chips. Your rear wheels, the fins of the wheels will actually get chipped up, and it is definitely something to keep in mind, because it will basically destroy itself within the first couple thousand miles. Very ugly. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're gonna jump into the mods now. So if you guys are interested in knowing exactly how I have set my car up, exactly what mods I've used and everything, we're gonna go over them right now, because there are a lot. So this video is gonna probably be longer on this end than it was on the good, bad, and the ugly, because the review of the car kind of speaks for itself. But let's talk about the mods now. Let's start right here at the front. And as usual, guys, everything we discuss here today will be listed in the description down below. If you want to just click on a link and buy the same thing, you can absolutely do so. We're going to start at the very front here, which is going to be the GM Stealth badging. So as you can see, that is a carbon flash painted Corvette emblem, and you can actually get that directly from Corvette, or you can buy it from Amazon. Check out the link in the description down below. Moving down from there, we have the Z07 package on the car, which I told you did not come stock. I added it. I wanted it to look like a Z07 even if it wasn't. And this entire kit, splitter, canards, side skirts, rear spoiler, and even the mirror caps, as well as the intake boomerangs here, is all from Segala. Moving up a little bit from there, we get the carbon fiber fangs of the front bumper, and these are actually from EOS. You can buy these on my website. Check out the link in the description down below. Right below that is the scrape armor radiator grill guards. Like I was mentioning in the video, you should definitely get these. These are available directly from Scrape Armor, and like I said, don't wait for those. Coming over on the side, we have the Forge Light wheels, which I've been talking a lot about recently because I really like them. People that have seen the car seem to really like it as well. So if you like them as much as I do, check out the link in the description below. Mention HPO and you can save $250 off a set of your own. They save 16 pounds off the stock weight. They fit the fender wells exactly like they should. And the exterior is finished in powder coat, not paint, so it's a lot stronger than the stock wheels. Staying with the wheels here, we also have titanium lug nuts, which are available on my website. They ship directly from Paragon Performance. Really an awesome little addition because it knocks another 2.5 pounds, yeah, 2.5 pounds off of the stock wheel lug weight. Moving up from there, we have just a red piece of vinyl that is stuck down in between the windshield and the dashboard to give the Team Corvette kind of a red-ish appearance. Right beside there, underneath the frunk here, is an anti-gravity battery, which again knocks 20 pounds off of the stock battery, gives the battery a really huge bump in cold cranking amps, pretty much eliminates the need for a battery tender, and also lasts about 2 to 3 times longer than your normal lead acid battery of a car. Again, all good things. On the wheels, we also have black TPMS nuts and black TPMS cap to kind of go with the black wheel. These are really nice to do even on a stock wheel if you have black ones because it really helps kind of blend everything in. Right beside that, we have the ACS composite extended splash guards to prevent rock chips and stuff from kicking up at the rear. We have the fronts and the rears on this car. Check out the link down below if you're interested in grabbing those as well. But coming back to the back of the car, we also have the ACS composite piece that finishes off the rear glass. I believe they call that a spoiler. It helps just make the glass look a little more finished in there and definitely accomplishes its job if you ask me. Now, as I said in the beginning, the entire car has paint protection film on it, ceramic coating, and it is all tinted 5% Expel XR Plus and then 55% Expel XR Plus window tint on the front windshield with a 5% XR Plus little banner or visor up at the top. So again, guys, I'm just kind of going over all of this stuff. So if you want to make your car look just like mine, you have literally a playbook to do so. Opening up the door, we are greeted with the AMT Custom Designs door sills, of course, carbon fiber, and the stock Z06 font, which they're one of the only ones that are actually licensed by GM to do so. Plus they can make it custom. I had my HPO logo put in there. Jumping up from there, we have the red Z button, which is only going to fit your 2023 models, unfortunately. Again, you can get that in red or blue, and the link down below right from my website. Up from there, we have the blend mount radar detector holder that mounts right underneath your rear view mirror. My radar detector, which is an Escort Redline 360C. And below that, we have the Pro Clip. You guys know I love my Pro Clips. And the screen, the infotainment screen, is protected with an Expel RX screen protector. And that's going to be basically your same kind of self-healing properties of Expel with some silver built into the top layer to help kill bacteria. Other than that, we also have the carbon fiber waterfall back here from EOS. You can grab those on my website as well. All these will be linked down below. Coming to the back of the car, we have, of course, the Segala Z07 style wing. But right below that, we have the Paragon taillight tint. So this is tinted out to the point where all that's really visible is the red swoops or the daytime running light portion of the taillight. Again, you can grab these on my website. Links will be in the description down below. Below that, we have a tinted license plate cover because Pennsylvania's license plates are super bright for some reason. So wanted to get that tinted down a little bit. Links below. And down below that, we have the AWE exhaust system. So if you want to make this thing really scream, grab the AWE exhaust alongside the Soul Performance cats that I have on here, and the thing is just wild. To the left of the rear bumper, we actually have some carbon fiber finishing pieces that actually go into the rear heat or air pass through and just give it a real nice carbon fiber appearance. Popping the rear hatch, this is where things start to really get insane. I got all kinds of mods in here. Most of them are from Extreme Online Store. You can also get them on my website. Lots of carbon fiber over here, carbon fiber finishing pieces there, up there by the struts, these strut caps. And then I have this from Pixel Auto Works, kind of going over and talking about your actual build. EOS X brace or AG Motorsports plaque holder, so real carbon fiber, holds the builder plaque. The Eventuri intake from Paragon Performance and Eventuri. Then of course my Soul Performance cats are in here as well, and the Paragon Performance carbon fiber hatch struts. All really come together nicely. This is a really beautiful look. I mean, look at that. Just gorgeous. All things of beauty. That intake adds over 40 horsepower, just insane. I am sure I'm forgetting something, but the only other thing I can think of off the top of my head is the red daytime running lights that I have on the front of the car from Paragon Performance. Again, I'll have to put a video in here because it's kind of hard to see on camera under this lighting. Really a nice look. Lights up red to kind of go with all the other accents I have on the car. The bright red calipers, the red accents on the Forge Light wheels. My channel logo's red. All the red in the engine bay just really goes nicely with all of it. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. So if you liked my 1 year, 6,000 mile review of the C8 Corvette Z06, please smash the thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content so we can keep doing this kind of stuff for you. I really like making these videos. I wanna just make sure that you guys like receiving these videos. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'm gonna have loads of content like this coming you're not gonna wanna miss. And as always, guys, stay obsessed.